Well, hello again. This is Paul again, and today I'm going to go over shooting sync sound with a NIZO 801 or 800 or S800 camera. The NIZO cameras, I'm going to pronounce it NIZO because that's the way I say it anyway. Um, NIZO produced many different cameras, and some of them are sound cameras, and some of them, like this one, have a sound interlock recording capability, meaning it can work with a special tape recorder. Usually it's the UHER cassette and or reel-to-reel tape recorders. And one day I was watching an episode of Techmoan on YouTube, and he was reviewing a certain recorder, a reel-to-reel recorder that was available new, and I was kind of surprised by this. We'll get into that in a second, but I'd like to show you the other side of this. This has the standard functions. It records at 18, 24, 54 frames a second. You have a variable shutter. You have different buttons that do different things. This is the on, off, and battery test button. There's your footage counter, auto and manual aperture control, and reverse and zoom, and all those functions that are built into it. It's a beautiful camera. Let me show you around the other side. Okay, so you have the PC flash contact if you wanted to do single frames. You have external release, I believe that is. And then you have this plug. This plug is a, let's see, I think it's 7 pins with a center position. Here's a look at the plug itself. It has these little tiny wiry little pins that come out. And whoever designed this, you know, I just don't know what they were thinking. It would be easily destroyed. Maybe that's what they were thinking, that the plug can be cheap and easily destroyed to save the camera from damage. So maybe that's why. That's the only thing I could think of to justify this thing. Anyway, this is the interlock recording cable that records the pulses and also starts and stops the recorder. So this can have either one. There's different standards, DIN standards. DIN. It's a German standards group, and a group of people would submit a standard to them, and they would either adopt it or not adopt it or whatever, kind of like ISO or ISO. Anyway, so this will start and stop the camera. It doesn't start and stop the camera. It starts and stops the recorder, and then allows you to do interlock recording, and also outputs a pulse tone, also known, you call it a pilot tone. Any pulse tone can also be called a pilot tone, so it's not just 60 or 50 hertz. Anyway, so it gives a sharp, spike of voltage out to the recorder, and that's recorded on a pilot tone track on the recorder. So let's get to the recorder. This is a brand new UHER 4000 report monitor AV model. Now the AV model stands for audio video, which back in the 60s and 70s, people used to use these for sync sound recording, but also for recording audio for slideshow projectors that had it could read the pulse and then advance the slide to the next. Anyway, this one is set up by me. I made these cables for it. I got DIN connectors off of Mouser, which is an electronic supplier here in the US. And then I had to make a DIN to XLR because I don't own any DIN capable microphones. DIN is a circular connector with pins. I'll show you real quick. Actually, you can see it right here. Here's the headphone jack, and I also have made a, 1/4-inch headphone jack, but this recorder has one built into it. Anyway, this is set up. All I have to do is turn this switch, and this sets your inches per minute or centimeters per second or whatever, whatever standards, inches per second, IPS speed. So right now it's at 0, so it goes from let's see, 7.5 to 3 3/4, and then 1 7/8. So the higher number, the higher fidelity recording you're going to get out of this. It also has auto level control. It has a backlight. It has battery check switch. So as soon as I switch this on, the lights come on, and we have record. We have, you know, pulse recording, and also the on and a manual control. If you don't want to use the auto level controls, you can control the gain manually from the microphone input. Anyway, so this is all set up and ready to go. I've had the start and record button set, and when I touch the camera start button, it starts the recorder. See that? So now it'll start the recorder before it starts the camera. So there's two switches inside this button. There's two switches. There's one that starts the recorder and one that starts the camera. The first one starts the recorder, and the second one, pushing it a little harder, starts the camera, which sends pulses down that cable into the AV input here and records them on one of the tracks. So this is available as a 2-track recorder or a mono track recorder. I think the 4200 would be the 2-track. This is the 4000. So it's a half-track recorder, I believe. And so you get one of the tracks for mono audio, and the other track records the pulses. Well, what happens then is during playback, you have another special cable that sends those pulses out to another device, and I will cover that in the next segment, so I'm going to cut right here. Okay, so this is the second half of the video. This is the UHER 4000 report monitor AV. I have the AV cable that I made, and it goes into the same jack that was used on the camera, is now sending the pulses out to the Visacustic, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. And it has an LED counter to count the frames from the projector. It has manual override and pulse control, so it's set to impulse right now. The tricky thing with this is all the instructions were translated from German, and you know, you have 2 words on here, project. Anyway, you have to figure it all out for yourself. It took me a long time to figure this all out. Anyway, so we have the Visacustic controller, we've got the speaker, and then on top of that we have the projector. Now this Braun 1000 Visacustic 1000 stereo projector is set. It has an AV jack on the back. Basically, it allows the controller to increase or decrease the running speed of the film to catch up to the audio coming out of the recorder. So you have the recorder sending out impulses, and it's taking those impulses, and it's counting the perforation impulses coming out of here. It sends out 1 pulse per frame, and then it goes to the other side of the Visacustic on the back. There's a cable that comes out and goes into the projector, a DIN cable, and then that is what controls the projector. It sends impulses from the projector down to this unit, and the tape recorder is sending impulses, and it compares and it counts those impulses, and the tape recorder will be in control, so that the sound on the tape recorder doesn't have a lot of wow and flutter. Excuse me, let me move my tools. It doesn't have a lot of wow and flutter because it's controlling the speed of the projector. Now this is great if you're watching, you know, in your movie theater room, you're watching the film yourself, but it's not so great if you want to videotape that image in sync. So what you would have to do is have sound striped film, just like the Elmo system. You would have sound striped film. You'd send the audio out from the recorder into the inputs of the projector here, and since it's a stereo projector, you have 2 recording tracks. You could have music on one track, and you could have the audio from, you're recording on another track, and then you could record all that to the film. So the film will be then have the audio locked into the picture, and once that all happens, then you don't need all the rest of this stuff. You can just run it right through the projector and play it back, and the audio would be in sync. So you wouldn't have to keep setting this up unless you like the convoluted process of setting it up and getting that sync perfect every time. I haven't used this too much because I was under the impression there was something wrong with the projector because it was running real slow. What I just realized when I was messing around with this is that when I turn it on, it runs just fine now, okay? And what's happening is I can control it from here. If I go manual, I can turn it way down. And so that thing was set to manual, and it was turned way down. And so I was having a problem. I thought the projector was running super slow, but that wasn't the problem. I had all the cables hooked up, and I had this thing powered on. So it was controlling the projector, and I couldn't get it to run at proper speed. So here's the normal speed running, and there's the counter counting off. The old school LED counter. They look like, I don't know what kind of LEDs they are, but they're pretty cool. So this would have all been made in the 1980s, I believe. Let me turn it off so you can hear me talking again. Anyway, so that's how the system worked. I really enjoy showing you these things. I got to tell you the truth. Taking this out on location, it's such a beautiful recorder. What I would do is I would not record to that. I would make a special cable. In fact, I don't need a special cable because I made this connected by, hang on a second. It's taking on a life of its own. Let me turn that thing off. Okay, so it was waiting for impulses from the projector. When they didn't come, it just started up. Anyway, so this is a great system. And so what I would do is I would record to a common digital recorder in the field. Then I come back and dub it back to this thing. And then I would use it to control the projector. I wouldn't want to take this beautiful recorder out into the field actually and use that. Now Super 8 Sound made a separate recorder which is based off of this same style of UHER recorder, but this is not that system. This is a proprietary system by UHER, and it has nothing to do with the Super 8 sound recorder other than being the later model being made off the same platform. Another person had pointed out that they thought that the plug was the same coming into the camera as the Elmo, and it is not. It's a very different system. The Elmo controls the running speed of the recorder, whereas this recorder controls the speed of the projector. So that clears that up. And anyway, I hope you have enjoyed seeing this. I wish I had a sync film to show you, but I don't have one right now. And anyway, let me know in the comments if you have any questions about this. Now, I am not an expert on this system, and I have several recorders, and I'm going to do some more videos on those. This is the the NIZO UHER system. So NIZO UHER system, and it works. And I've been itching to try it out. So I think I'll give that a go here before too long. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to know more about this recorder, check up on the channel for Techmoan, and he covers this in great detail, but he did not know what this particular plug was for, the AV plug. And so now I've covered that, and Techmoan fans can see that in full operation. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.